I'm the announcer.
Welcome back, guys, for another episode of the Ghetto Rig Podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Eddy. To my left, we have my co-host Jay, and behind the camera, controlling everything, all the buttons and good stuff, Miggy.
Yeah.
Episode 276.
Yes, sir.
Still. Today we're going to talk about some stuff. I know everybody's been talking about the Venezuela thing that went over since last week. Since we weren't here on New Year's and stuff. And I think some other things too, but mostly probably political stuff. Right? I mean, that's what's going on, I guess. Oh yeah.
Sponsors.
Oh yeah, UFC Gym Largo in Pinellas Park and Vitality Wellness Centers. Links in the description. Go check them out. But yeah, what do you guys have for Maduro?
Bruh. How was Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan? How many years was that?
I don't remember.
20 something years.
Homeboy went in 12 minutes. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Back. And then so there's a lot of conspiracy theories they're talking about that all this was kind of like
I heard that the whole thing actually, like the whole operation itself, was 56 minutes or some shit like that.
And
So,
they're saying that
that's just crazy that they could do something to a fucking world leader like that. Just pick him up. Let's go.
yeah. Well, they're saying that this was so one of the conspiracy theories is that Maduro kind of knew that his days are outnumbered, so he cut a deal.
Yeah.
And basically, the reason they're saying that he cut a deal is there's a bunch of things that are getting thrown in there. I don't know how much of it is true. Because, like, a lot of people are saying, oh, United States is going there for the oil, right? Okay, we're going there for the oil. Great. I mean, let's just assume that. But what was stopping us from buying that oil through our proxies? Like, we could still buy the oil through our proxies at a cheaper price, right? Would he need necessarily to have him fucking control those oil fields? There's another thing that they're talking about, that all those voting machines, those Dominion voting machines, all that is being actually made in Venezuela. And there are reports that Maduro has spoken to people by saying that, yes, we basically control elections and stuff like that with these machines. So there's that.
As a conspiracy.
As a conspiracy theory, yeah. But the biggest conspiracy theory so far is apparently this was not in the news. It wasn't publicized. So Trump released this new document. I forget the name of it is. And basically in this document, he's outlining how United States is going to start stepping back from being the world police. We're no longer going to do that.
The one that's forcing all the other countries to spend
Spend more money, exactly. Basically saying, like, listen, why am I defending Taiwan if I'm the only one that's paying for defending Taiwan? Y'all either need to start chipping in or I'm fucking pulling out.
or any European country.
Or any European country. What this does in a whole spectrum of things. Because if you look at it globally, what do you have? 3 countries, right? You have Russia, China, and United States. No one else is a player like these 3. So what this biggest conspiracy theory has to say, which is definitely like the worst case scenario, is basically saying that the reason he went into the Venezuela, because besides oil, they have huge reserves of gold, huge reserves of all the other things. If he controls Venezuela, it's going to be very easy to control all the neighboring countries as well. And they're saying that Trump is trying to create this pact of Americas, basically, and this is us. Like, United States controls the Americas, puts the borders there, then Russia does his own thing in Europe,
Eurasia.
whatever, and then China, Eurasia, and then Europe and some of the Asia, and then China will control the Pacific and all that other stuff, right? Which, if that happens, is going to be big, right? Like, that's probably, we don't want that to happen, right, in general, because anyone that's going to go under control of China and Russia are going to fucking suffer. Now, if that's the case, if they don't want that to happen, NATO basically at this point, no one cares for NATO. NATO, like, they're naming all the European countries as failed states because they cannot protect themselves, right? Without United States, they simply cannot. NATO ain't gonna do shit, so NATO is gonna fall apart. And who else is left there, right? No one to protect against China, against Russia. So if they really want United States protection, you start paying us for the protection, right? So that's the worst case scenario. Now, I don't know if I like that completely. You know what I mean? Because Colombia is also in a socialist kind of government, but Petro, who's the president of Colombia now, a lot of the Colombia's people are against him. So most likely this new re-election that's coming, they're gonna kick him out.
I saw he said something to Trump.
Yeah, yeah, he talks shit to Trump, but he knows that he's out the door, right? He knows he's out the door. That's why he's talking mad shit. He knows he's not getting reelected. The next person in charge is Lula, who's in Brazil, right? He's also a socialist, so he's basically out the door. They've been pushing this guy for Bolivia, I think Bolivia, yeah. So the ex-president of Bolivia, or whatever the guy that went for it, they're trying to push him to come over because he's pro Western world. Bolivia is also socialist. So basically, what looks like the rest of the, because Argentina already has the what's his name, who's pro Western world, Malay, whatever his name is.
The Argentine?
Yeah, Argentinian president,
Malay.
Malay. So basically, the way it's lining up, that the South America is going to go a little more capitalistic versus socialistic, and if that happens, now you have these Americas, they're going to be on the same wavelength. So that makes sense. Why would they block it off? Say, this is us. You want to trade with us? Largest oil reserves, largest reserves of gold, largest production. A lot of the production from China is leaving and coming back to the United States.
That's going to put us up in the 5th or 6th for oil.
Yes. The only little thing about Venezuela, the oil that they have is very heavy oil. It's not the light oil like Saudis. So it takes equipment. Maintenance on the equipment is huge to produce the barrels, right? That. So, but it doesn't really justify to me that we went there just for the oil. It makes no sense, because have them produce it and we buy it through our proxies for much cheaper. We still be able to do that. We're already producing majority of oil. The United States produces more oil than anyone else.
The viewpoint of the Venezuelan
produces?
People,
yeah, we pull out more barrels of oil than anyone else.
In the Gulf.
In the Gulf, yeah. And oil is basically getting phased out slowly, so
we're like slowly peeking into their territory, low key.
Yeah,
going through the Gulf.
Yeah.
Like, let me just get a little bit, just a little goop, just
a
little bit.
And then Cuba is damn near out. Cuba, there's gonna be some. So here's the thing.
Dude, this is so big. This
is
huge. For
Cuba.
But
this is the problem that. This is what I'm afraid of. Venezuela had all these natural reserves, and strategically it was worth taking Venezuela. Next country would be maybe Colombia and Brazil, but that's going to get done by itself, right? We don't need to go in there. It's just going to get done. The problem with Cuba is, what does Cuba have to offer?
Sugarcane and tobacco.
Sugarcane and tobacco. Now, is that something that we're going to go for? The only reason we would go to Cuba is for having strategic points. And if that thing happens where they're going to do the Americas, then yes, that makes sense. We would go for Cuba.
Yeah, you got to take over the Caribbean.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. So it's kind of a toss up. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen necessarily. I don't know what's his plan, but he does want to pull out. Now he doesn't mind going out there and being world police. Just gotta pay for it, right? And I don't know.
Is it true that we're technically, like, essentially taking over Venezuela temporarily until they can kind of figure out themselves?
No,
I didn't believe that.
No, we're not. That we're just gonna help them elect a pro-Western leader who's gonna basically do what we want them to do without us being there. Although Russia did send 2 of their nuclear submarines that are like they're the most advanced submarines in the world currently. They'll run circles around everyone. So they did send some people over there. They did send their Wagner unit over to Venezuela. So there's some tensions. Definitely, Russia and China are not fucking happy about this at all. You know,
I saw the French guy. He also came out and talked bullshit. Not really bullshit, but talking shit.
Yeah. Now, biggest thing out of all this, to me, is the blue-haired baristas that are protesting. Motherfucker, what do you know about Venezuela?
Bro, I wish they would just go to those countries for like just a couple months, just to try and just see what it's like.
And here, this is where I have the biggest trade we should probably sign in papers. What we do, we say we want 1 big booty Latina from Venezuela versus 100 liberal women from the United States. We'll send them over to you. I think that's a good trade. They increase their labor force. These bitches know how to make coffee. They can work in their shops and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We just send them over there and get 1 big booty Latina per each 100 liberal women that we have here. I think that's a very good trade.
That's a crazy inflation.
I mean, that's a very
100
good
to
trade.
1.
That's crazy
That
inflation.
hey, I'm willing to give up 100 to get one. I'm willing.
That's crazy inflation, but Venezuela is used to it.
Yeah. But what this is gonna do if everything plays out, it's gonna open the new avenue. So Colombian tourism might suffer just a bit because a lot of the tourists gonna start going to Venezuela. Because Venezuela, remember, 40 years ago, Venezuela was basically like the Dubai of South America. They were extremely wealthy. They were rich. They had a beautiful infrastructure. Caracas, as run down as it is, it's still a very beautiful city.
I believe the number that was thrown out was $17.5 trillion in oil reserves.
Yeah, yeah. So Venezuela has the potential to becoming the Dubai of South Americas, and it's going to happen very quickly. And whoever has connections and stuff like that and starts investing and does it quickly, they're going to be multi billionaires within the next 10 years. You're gonna see a rise of multi billionaires within the next 10 years.
This is beyond when they were questioning Trump or Rubio on the news, and they're like, "Who's gonna be controlling Venezuela? Are we in control of Venezuela?" Like, bro, this just happened like 3 hours ago. What are you talking about? This takes time. Like, you don't just say, "Okay, we're in control," and that's it.
Well, that's the thing. Were we in control of Afghanistan? Were we in control of Iran, Iraq? Like, you can't really say that that's what we are in control of, right? Like, how are we gonna are we gonna be in control of Venezuela? Yes, but indirectly, we're not gonna go there and put troops there and then keep them there permanently.
I mean, doesn't that kind of communicate that message when you go and kidnap their president? Like, I am the captain now.
Well, yeah, but the whole
that
thing
does
is
kind of communicate that message.
It does imply. It's saying that you have the power to do that. It does communicate a lot of power. It did even say that it was very aggressively done.
yeah. So here's the thing. There's a lot of delusion around the world in these different countries and within people thinking that they have some sort of a say in a global politics. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like you have some sort of an autonomy and you're doing things the way you want to do it because you're a country. You really don't. Because there's 3 countries that police the entire world and you do what they tell you to do.
I think the reality of that situation, at least this one in particular, is that sometimes you have to do bad things to avoid doing worse things. Because this could go even worse.
At the end of the day, I think for
I'm talking about the
Venezuelans,
situation in which Venezuela could continually be governed by this narco state, and they continually send whatever type of drugs, fentanyl, methamphetamine, whatever the fuck they want.
well, the narco state, I wouldn't put it in the narco state, right? Like, yes, did Maduro's nephews get caught in Panama with fucking kilos of cocaine and then brought to United States, and then not Trump, but Biden pardoned them and sent them back? Yes, that did happen. Like, did they get kickbacks from narco traffickers? Of course they did. But it's not in the quantities that we think they did, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of these people are very poor. So that money wasn't that big of a deal to cross through, right? Now, is Venezuela producing a lot of drugs? Now, I don't believe that because number one producers right now is Bolivia, Peru, and Colombia, right? Colombia leading the pack.
I think the most of coca leaves still come out of Peru, though.
Peru, exactly.
Colombia is just the biggest distributor, I think.
Colombia is the one that produces this shit and then distributes it. Goes through Mexico, goes through Dominican Republic, goes through the beaches of Cuba.
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
I think
Venezuela.
Peru still produces the most amount.
They provide the routes. They don't stop the routes. You know,
well,
the route.
They're the no. I'm saying Peru. That's where I think I'm maybe incorrect, but I think that's where they grow the most amount of coca leaves.
Yeah.
And where they grow that shit is where they produce it. They have those little camps set up in the fucking jungles and shit. So, but then Colombia, I think, is the largest, let's say, client to those Peruvians that actually produce it. Not necessarily they distribute it; they just produce it. And so, I think Colombia, is the largest distributor. Like you say, running through Mexico and up into the States.
It is what it is. And
Colombia.
then sicarios from Mexico buy it from the Colombians, and then Colombia send it to Dominican Republic, and Dominican Republic buys it from there. How do you think Dominican Republic suddenly just got the most amount of luxury cars? Is it because they're doing so well at building buildings and fucking singing dembow? Fuck no. Half of that shit is drug money. Like, let's just be honest. That's what it is. It is what it is. There's a lot more way they're making money.
There's a lot more exotic cars in Dominican Republic than people realize.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't just do that by doing everything legally. Like you just there's just not enough infrastructure to get
Not
there.
most of the
I know
time, yeah,
you're-
not in countries like
you're
that.
into the conspiracy theories. There has been this conspiracy theory for the longest that the Castros were allowing drug boats to use their territory as
Yeah.
a route.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's been multiple, you know, accounts of like shit floating to the beaches of Cuba, right? Like literally in like big ass bags. People just go, oh yeah, just another fucking thing of cocaine, just washed out. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is, was it the drug related? No, it was just an excuse to go in there, right? The excuse to go in there. Now,
It just gets rid of so many things all at the same time.
all at the same time, exactly,
You
exactly.
make the people of Venezuela happy. You get resources. You get the drug issue taken care of. You get your land because now you have control of the whole fucking Western Hemisphere. And whoever doesn't cooperate, well, look what happened to this guy. So you better cooperate. It just puts so much more pressure on
Yeah.
on the region.
And a lot of people have this stupid idea the United States has to be the Salvation Army of the world and not gain anything out of this and go out there and save everybody and do this. Why? Like, give me one good reason why. In the name of the good, okay, great. In the name of the good, send our troops there, send our money there, fucking take losses, have people die. For what reason? So we can say we're the fucking we're the Virgin Mary of the fucking world. That make no fucking sense. That really makes no sense, right? Like, there's got to be some sort of a strategic reason why we're going and doing these things. Otherwise, why the fuck would we do it? Can we, yeah, you know, once a year, can we go volunteer and just tell the Cubans to, you know, the president to shut the fuck up? Yeah, once a year we can volunteer for 24 hours. That's about it. But if you want me to be there for a couple of months, yo, Brad, I got work to do. I got bills to pay. You know what I mean? I need some out of this.
Cuba is really not going to need much intervention after this.
They don't. No, they don't.
It's
Yeah.
going to fall right on its own.
Yep. And I think that's gonna. I think that's the best case scenario. And I think they just kind of sat down and did the percentages.
It's not going to have any fucking like, unless they got some crazy tech.
No,
New tech.
No, bro. I mean, you saw Venezuela. They were like, oh, let them come, and they had these couple of these water drones that they're gonna fucking sink the ships with these water drones, bro. 50 minutes, your president was here. But I think what happened here that a lot of people are not talking about, I think Maduro cut a deal. I really do think that he cut a deal, and he's gonna most likely be, even if he's let go, if they let him go, it's done. Like, Maduro is not getting reelected, right? The election is gonna happen. A new president is going to be in there, and he's not going to be able to organize a coup. And all the people that were pro-Maduro, they're all going to get either locked up in Venezuelan jails, or they're going to be handled the same way Maduro got handled.
You know what's crazy? Spain is so supportive of Venezuela, which is so crazy.
There's a lot of Venezuelans in Spain. A lot. Spain took a lot of the... There's 8 million Venezuelans that left Venezuela. They expatriated.
But Pedro Sanchez, which has never lost a presidential
Election or whatever.
yeah. Surprisingly has the support of the people, I guess, but has these crazy fucking takes. Now, he's no longer the president-elect. Somebody else is. But it's just crazy to me that Spain would even align with that.
Yeah, and I think what's happening now is United States is directly fighting the socialist
Idea to
idea.
finally eradicate it, because it's that hasn't worked. They've let it go on for quite a while.
Now, socialist idea can work in a country where there's no corruption, in a country where there's infrastructure, in a country where there's logistics, in a country that kind of has their economy under their fucking control. That could work.
China?
Well, China is a little bit different, right? China's a little bit different, but like I'm talking about maybe like Norway. It's a totally different type of a mentality of people, different type of oil reserves, different type of just different traditions, different things. These are different type of people. Like, you can't take Norway's idea and bring it into the Equatorian countries and say, okay, we're going to do it this way. No, Equatorian countries are naturally a little more, they're a little more fiery about things. Norwegians are a little more laid back. You know what I mean? So you can't just take the socialist idea and then just inject it into these countries where, plus on top of that, Norway, that under the table shit doesn't exist. All of these countries we're talking about, everything got done under the table. Like, how are you gonna take that? It's gonna take 3-4 generations of completely like eradicating that for the country to change. We're talking about 100+ years for the country to change and start becoming more like the westernized world is, right? So
I think socialism is fucking terrible, and the only way that would, I think the only way that would work, if it were to work, would be a region. Like, there has to be like 3 to 4 countries in the same region that are so like all cooperating.
yeah.
If
Well,
if
Europe
they're
tried
not
that, right?
If they're not all cooperating, and you don't have the enforcement, and everybody's not following the rules, and something happens, they break apart, and there's some disagreement, they don't want to do this, then everything is.
Well, Europe tried that, right? We had the European Union for what, like a good part of like 50 years now, something like that, plus minus. But I mean, they're failing. They're really failing. Like, there were 3 countries they're supporting Europe. 2 countries, Germany and England. England pretty much said, "Peace out, I'm out."
England's not part of the European
Yeah,
Union
they're
anymore.
pieced out. So England is no longer there. Now the only thing you have left is Germany and France. Somehow, like, sticks their fucking wee nose in there once in a while. You know what I mean? But then the president gets slapped by his wife, so he kind of sits back down. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, Europe is kind of a failed state. All the Southeastern Asia and China and all of them, like Japan is kind of like with us because we have the base there, so it's all good there, right? Because we got a little foothold there. But then China is basically controlling everybody. Cambodia, Indonesia, fucking what do you call
Korea.
it? Huh?
North Korea.
North Korea, yeah, they're all kind of in cahoots. South Korea is kind of with us, right? But then you have Cambodia, Laos,
Kind of.
Vietnam, all of those people. But South Korea about to be fucking no longer South Korea. They're just their birth rate is so fucking low. They're
Have you noticed
past the replacement rate.
Have you heard or noticed the change in attitude of the Japanese prime minister?
No, I didn't see that.
She's no longer passive kawaii anime.
Yeah.
they're trying to militarize again, and they're in heavy support of Taiwan being sovereign.
Yeah.
So if the Chinese do try and go for that, Japan's gonna go in there, and guess what?
I mean,
Do
we
you
saw
think
Pearl
that's really-
Harbor. Them motherfuckers not afraid of shit.
Do you think
That's
that's really? I'm just conspiracy here of I don't know shit about shit, but do you think that's really them wanting to feel that way, or us talking through them?
That's probably us talking through them. There's a little bit of that, because they know they have our support.
Because we support
Yeah.
Taiwan, don't we?
You type shit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know?
So,
But
and-
to me, what's crazy, what is crazy to me is that Mexico is actually pro Maduro. That's fucking crazy to me. And there's got to be a reason why he's pro Maduro, right? Like the president of Mexico, why she's pro Maduro. The only way I can think about that she might be under the cut, as far as like the drugs coming in, she might be taking this money, and otherwise, why would you be pro Maduro? What, like, oh, I'm pissed at you because you raised the tariff, so now I'm gonna support Venezuela? That makes no sense. We're not in a fucking
apparently-
high school.
In order to keep the reputation, that's what Maduro does. He starts paying all these countries such as Cuba, Mexico, a bunch of little European countries, Russia. All these countries talk good about it, and they prop it up, and in exchange, they give them free shit.
Free oil.
You get some oil.
No, I
some
get that.
gold.
I get that. Get free oil and get some gold, right? Like, so this is what I'm trying to say. That means that Mexico's president or Mexico's government is also undertake with this type of a regime.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case scenario, the fuck? You know what I mean? Bitch, you're our neighbor. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Don't fuck with us right now.
Yeah, and then another thing is
Right now, they're thinking everything.
yeah, I think this was like a, cause see, there's another thing why this conspiracy theory cannot like there's a one big gap in this conspiracy theory. Because of Palantir, right? We've all heard of Palantir. Palantir is extremely advanced. A lot of people don't understand how advanced it is because now they have these satellites that were actually tracking Maduro's cell phone, even though he was in hiding. They knew exactly by second where he is. And they have these satellites that will do infrared and do all this. And all this shit is controlled by Palantir. So that's the biggest gap in this conspiracy theory, that they're like, oh, there was like, he basically said, here, come get me, and then we'll cut a deal. versus saying, well, no, even though if he said, come get me, we knew exactly where he is. We knew exactly who to eliminate to get to him. You know what I mean? So I think for the people of Venezuela, this was a very good. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't have a fucking opinion about this, right? Because I'm not from Venezuela and I never lived there. I have Venezuelan friends who are hardcore liberals. Even they were celebrating. You know what I mean? This thing. So clearly, this is a good thing, right? For Venezuela, country of Venezuela. As far as for the people,
I've heard some mixed opinions on that. I
Any
don't have an
change,
opinion on it.
I think, is better than any change.
Yeah.
At that particular.
although there is opposition, 30% of the country is against this. 70% of the Venezuelans in Venezuela are pro. 30% is against. But 95% of the immigrants that left Venezuela, the 8 million, are pro what happened. So technically, if you take it all together and kind of sum it all up, we're looking maybe at like 90 to 90%, 85% pro of what happened.
Did you guys hear about what happened last night? Somebody was flying a drone over and they started shooting at it.
Where was this?
Venezuela.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
So basically, they're shitting bricks right now.
Yeah,
Anything that they see in the sky, they're shooting.
They're trying to shoot down.
Apparently, there was a drone that somebody was flying over, and they just started blasting on it. They threw a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, and then a lot of the paramilitary for Venezuela was actually Cuban, right? Because they're big friends. So a lot of the Cuban people lived in Venezuela. So.
At the moment, a lot of government people in the military side of things are saying that, hey, there's not a time to be celebrating. If you're caught in the street, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, but then they've already seen that U.S. MPVs on the streets of Venezuela, like they're actually driving through and stuff like that. So there's some military presence. The only thing is, the problem was why they had to do this by air. Because Caracas itself is surrounded by rocks, right, by the mountains. The only way we could get to it is through the over the air. Otherwise, it would have been a very, very long roundabout from even, let's say, if it's Margarita Island area or whatever. It would have been a very, very long roundabout to get there to bring troops in. So United States is not necessarily going to bring troops in to the Venezuela because logistically it makes no sense, right? There's just so many planes need to come over to bring all those in versus just bringing them by the ship and just letting them out, right? So this is why I don't think we're going to go there physically, militarily occupy Venezuela. It's going to be more electing the pro-Western government that's going to in turn cooperate with us. And they're going to kind of like get their shit together on their own. And slowly we'll transfer troops over.
Their ideas started changing pretty quickly within a day. Like, the first day, they were like, give us our president back, we're going to retaliate. And the second one was like, we will allow U.S. intervention to do this. And
yeah, it was very quick because no one expected that we can go in. Because everybody expects the United States to go in there, send out the pamphlets, and then be there for years, shoot back at the Taliban, and then maybe we'll find it where he is, and then figure out what it is. No, this motherfucker said, this is what we're doing. I don't care what you think about it. I'm going to go in, get what I need, and get the fuck out. Zero fucking casualties. Zero casualties on the side of the heavy machinery or equipment.
Now, the other big conspiracy theory going on at the moment is that the current vice president of Venezuela, the girl, I think is it Darcy Rodriguez?
Well, she's a Nobel Prize winner, actually, for peace. The one that they're trying to put as a president. Yeah.
But they can't put her there because the whole entire military force in opposition is already in there.
Yeah.
More than 70% of the opposition has already left the country. Like, there's no presence. There's nothing. For them to
and it's main general that's holding everything down. And I think the main general is like, oh, it's my time to shine, so I'm gonna become the new president, right? Like, he doesn't realize that he's gonna get real quick, like,
Diosdado Cabello. Yeah.
Dictator style. You know what I'm saying?
There's still about 10 minutes that they gotta cut.
Make it pointy. You know what I mean?
You were saying that nobody died?
Well, no, on United States side, no one died. We didn't have any loss of any troops. There were some minor injuries, but no loss on United States side. But I think they were reporting first day 40 people, 40 Venezuelans died.
Right now, it looks like their current numbers are saying 80 to over 100.
Okay, so 100 versus thousands.
Including, Venezuelan security, some Cuban personnel,
like
and some
36 Cubans.
And some civilians as well.
Or 34 or 36. That's what the Cuban
And
people,
bet you that's
the Cuban
the reason it's
security-
saying some civilians, because the number is so low. People will be like, "Are you fucking serious? Why even mention this?"
Well, it says officials stated dozens of civilians were also killed in the attacks.
Dozens. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How did they get to the 100? So if it's 36 or
Well,
whatever,
dozens
Cubans,
can
right?
only mean 2, 3 dozen. It says Cuba reported 32 of its
Okay,
military
so
and
32
general.
Cubans. How many Venezuelans actual military
Venezuelan
forces?
security officers was 24.
24. So 36 plus 24, so that's 60.
No, 32 plus 24.
32 plus 24, so we're looking at about a 60.
56. Or sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, about a 60, and then
Sorry, yeah, no, 56.
and then
yeah.
in between there, okay, we'll say 40 civilians. Max. That's the max we're looking at.
Between 30 and 40.
And I
Maybe-
can
maybe
guarantee you that
50.
number 26 is probably a little bit bigger than that. How the fuck did this happen that more Cubans passed than actual security or Venezuelan security people? That makes
because
kind of
they're
no
way
sense.
Too fucking deep in their government, and they've been trying to take over their fucking resources for more than fucking 60 years.
Do you think we went in and purposely got rid of some of those Cubans?
No, I
No,
think
they
those
just
Cubans
happened
were
to be
just
the way.
shooting back.
They were
Yeah,
in the
they were
wrong
just
place,
shooting
wrong
back.
way.
wrong time.
Yeah, they were just in a way. There was just casualty. Like it was just.
You
a
don't think that we
casualty.
went in there with any other goal but that?
Nah, they knew.
There might have been some side goals there.
That was like going
Oh, you
around.
mean side quests? There may
Yeah,
have some
bro.
side
Like,
quests.
hey, on the way to Maduro, you're gonna stop at this specific place. 'Cause
No,
we
no,
know that
no.
this officer's
The
here. We want to
extra
get rid of
side
this
quest.
officer because he's a.
Well,
Whatever.
if that was the case, they would have got rid of that
extra
general.
Side quest in that scenario was them dropping a fucking extra bomb right on top of the barracks where Hugo Chavez is
Yeah.
buried.
Yeah. That was the
That
extra
was
side
the
quest.
extra
Yeah, that
side
was
quest right
that was
there.
such a. It's like one of those things when you two guys get mad at each other and it's like, motherfucker, if you die before I do, I'm gonna go piss on your grave. That's exactly what just did with Chavez. They just kind of.
It's like when you get back to the base.
But let's talk about historically what happened here, right? So I think this is very, very important. So when Venezuela was doing really, really well, they passed this law. I forget the name of the law. And what that law did, it had to do with the petroleum. And they kind of put all their eggs in one basket, right? Petroleum. So what that did, that increased the difference between the rich and the poor. Like that law itself made it bigger. This is when Chavez took over, right? And then his predecessor was
You got loose in the chat.
Maduro, right? Well, not predecessor. His person that replaced him was Maduro. Over very short 30 years between Chavez and Maduro, they drove one of the richest countries in South America to a complete shit because government came in. They took everything that was privatized. They made it all government, right? All the money that was coming in, they took all that money out and send it outside or buying this, buying that, buying the third. Stop taking care of their equipment in all refineries. These start slowly failing. And the state basically destroyed the country of Venezuela in the name of equality, right? Because of the poor and the rich. That's how it all happened. But I think Venezuelans got to the point where grandmas and grandpas were happy about this. Oh, maybe we can start actually the difference is going to disappear. But then they saw that's like, oh shit. Now we don't got water. We don't got food. We don't got healthcare. We don't have anything left.
I was listening to a podcast about a Venezuelan guy that's very deep into politics and economics, and his family was forced out of the country. He was finally able to come before shit really hit the fan, and he was able to go to college here. He was explaining that fuck, I lost my train of thought there. Fuck.
So a lot of
I had a whole train of thought about the guy,
Yeah, but
the
and
way
you
he explained. this
you have to
particular
understand
thing.
that out of those 8 million people, majority of them are illegal, right? So now they can actually go back to their country. And now the biggest thing now is because the situation is changing. So Colombia, Peru, and all of these places are pretty much like gearing up and they're like kind of getting ready for another wave of immigrants coming in, right? Because it's going to take some time until they kind of figure out. Go ahead.
The way the government runs businesses for two different reasons. The government runs for power, right? But the people run for business and prosperity. It's like two completely different things. If you just expropriate everybody and you just have power, there's no progress.
Yeah, I was watching this guy. He was talking about how his family owned a bunch of gas stations, and they were BP gas stations. They physically owned them. They were,
Trigonometry.
huh?
Trigonometry.
I don't
Podcast.
remember. I don't. Yeah, it was a real. And then the kid was saying that government came in, bought it, and they made it like uni something. They named it. They made it government, and his family
I
became
think we're talking about the same thing.
general managers. Suddenly, whatever they owned, no longer they do.
Where was this?
In Venezuela,
Okay.
they said, "Oh, you own this business? You
No.
put your hard-earned work. Now it's ours. Sorry, you can manage it. You manage it for us, but you're gonna send the money to us." And they're like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We had cars, we had nice cars and things like that. Because parents did well."
I should be driving. He said I should be driving a Lamborghini in Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah. So
Just like people are driving Lamborghinis in Dubai,
mhm.
just because of how rich
Yeah.
they were.
So I
I heard
think
that story in Cuba when we were one of the club. Like it was like a, it was this big property that used to be like a nice hotel that's on the water. And in one area they have like a venue where we went to like a quince there and stuff, and then another area they have like a bar and everything, and apparently it was shut down for a long time. But like Emily's mom and like cousins and stuff like that were talking about how when they were like younger they would see like this place was really really nice, like in I think one of them said that they had been there this night. It was like right down the road from where most of them grew up, and apparently it was shut down for a really long time. But some American came in, somebody I'm assuming it was probably Cuban but lives in America or whatever, and he bought the place and started like making money off of it by opening the bar and the venue and all this stuff. And I was sitting there and I'm like, why won't they like actually renovate this place? Because like the whole main hotel, fucking four or 5 story hotel, has a view of the water, big ass pool with a kiddie pool next to it that's really big too. None of that is renovated. Nothing is renovated. It's all just like bringing some lights and generators and let's run this bitch how we can. And I was like, if this guy's got money, why doesn't he do this? And they were like, well, because if he puts any money into it, they'll come take it.
yeah,
Okay, well, that fucking sucks.
yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna take time, but Venezuela is gonna get back on their feet. So again, as I said, if there's a way for somebody to invest in Venezuela and they kind of trust these people and they can make this happen, there's gonna be a lot of millionaires and billionaires made within the next 10 years just because of Venezuela. And if Colombia's already on the way there. Medellin just became one of the most expensive cities in Colombia. It surpassed Bogota.
Shit, I might.
Clearly
be
there's
investing
money
in
going in
Venezuela
there.
for real. Like if that's how it is, like and it's booming, because you could find a really good place for like 55,000 over there.
15. We're talking about coastal homes for 15 grand. Next 10 years, those homes are going to be triple, quadruple, quintuple the price.
In a couple of years,
Yeah.
give it 20, 30 years, those things are going to be fucking 400,000, 500.
Yep. That's what's going to happen. But you have to trust somebody there, right? Because right now it's going to be very, like, anytime country goes through this type of a change, you get a lot of the criminal organizations starting to take over, and then it takes a president to finally get the force together and just fuck them up. Like, but that takes time, right? That happened in Russia, that happened in Lithuania, that happened in any of those countries that kind of fell apart after Russia fell apart. Every single country went through that. It was about a year, like between 5 to 10 year period, where the criminal organizations were running rampant. And everybody was kind of like afraid of that. There were bombings, shootings, killings, but then they got their shit together, cleaned it all up. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'll always remember Lithuania as the first country I went to outside the United States that wasn't a third world country.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see what another country's version of a first world country is, right? Because in my perspective, I've only seen America. The other ones, I don't know why, man. I still could think of Lithuania as one of the nicest places we went to, and I think it was like cleanliness.
Yeah.
Which was insane to see in comparison to the other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not even a comparison.
The thing is the smallest country out of all of them, but the education level is pretty high, so people do take care of their own stuff. There's national pride there, right? And they're very strong on their national pride.
You know what's crazy? I talked so much shit about Europe when we got back about how service in Europe, this and that. Everything I say about Europe with service and people and stuff like that, is excluding Lithuania. Because like in the restaurants we went to, every single
Everyone
one
was nice as hell,
super
bro.
nice, served
Yeah.
you quickly, remembered everything you had to say, all these things. Versus like in Italy and Spain, it wasn't.
Yeah, because in Italy and Spain, they're like fucking tourists. In Lithuania, it's like, yeah, tourists. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
there's a different kind of.
Yeah, because Lithuania doesn't get many tourists. I'm assuming.
No, they don't.
Right?
They don't.
You guys fucking love basketball though. That's
yes.
for sure.
Yes. I mean, as small as the country is, 2.5, 3 million people, they're one of the best basketball teams in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's. Every kid grows up, basically. Every kid is born with a basketball in their hand.
In
you know?
Lithuania.
So, and it does help that everybody's kind of like tall, lengthy,
Yeah, very
designed
tall.
for that. You know
Very
what I mean?
tall.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how Venezuela progresses. And 10 years from now, we're going to sit down and talk about Venezuela, and you'll see that they went through those waves of the criminal organizations, and somebody's going to come and clean it all up.
What do you think is the closest country in South America to becoming like first world country?
I think first will be Colombia, for sure, because Colombia already has the infrastructure in place. They kind of knocked down all the sicarios and everything.
Can you Google that, Miggy, or I can Google it?
Colombia will be
What's
first.
the most like
The fastest one will
I don't
be
know how to
Venezuela.
phrase it exactly, because I know they don't use the terms first world anymore and this and that. We found that out one day.
No, fastest one will be Venezuela in terms of like going from 0 to 100 will be Venezuela. Colombia is gonna be the first one, and then. But I think in South America, Mexico is already there, because like a lot of.
Well, Mexico isn't considered South America.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not. But from all the Latin American countries,
What was your
I think
question?
Mexico is the number.
I don't know how do you think we'd phrase this, Jay? What is the country in South America that is the closest to the United States, and what variable are we trying to like? What's
Well,
the-
just put it as a first world country. It's gonna
Yeah.
tell there's no such thing as first world country, but then it's gonna give you the answer anyway. So, but I think Colombia, because they kind of eradicated the cartels, narco traffickers, and there are some problems there within the south part of the country that's also getting cleaned up quickly. Venezuela, they said Venezuela will be the fastest. Yeah, because
Other
of the
nearby countries include Colombia and Guyana.
yeah. So there you go. That's your answer. But I think Colombia will get there. Will get to the level where you're like, okay, this is.
So it says Chile,
That was just a quick
Uruguay,
question from Microsoft Edge, by the way.
Uruguay and Argentina are considered the most developed and
Yes.
leading in Latin America Human Development Index,
Yes, but Venezuela is going
economic
to go
stability and
past
social indicators.
very quickly. Like Venezuela is going to go past that just because of the amount of resources they have, the amount of money that's going to start pouring in there, bro. If you don't think that BlackRock already has a plan for Venezuela, you're mistaken. BlackRock BlackRock right now, BlackRock including all the other big companies, they're already have a plan in place. What they're going to do, what they're going to buy, what they're going to build. How
I'm
they're
sure they
gonna
already
do it.
probably had a plan. It was more of like, oh shit, this happened. Go get the binder.
Yeah, go with the binder.
go get it.
Exactly. Or it was like, it's time to bring the binder. Shit about to go down. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I am happy to see that another socialist dictator got knocked the fuck down. I despise socialism. I don't like it at all. I don't think the idea fucking works. It's a great idea for somebody that has a big heart and wants to help everyone. That shit doesn't fucking work. We humans are not designed that way. We're just not. The shit doesn't work. The best thing we have right now is the fucking capitalism. It is. It's not perfect, but it's the best situation we have. Everything else doesn't work. Now, education is
The
definitely...
only one that has made it work is China, and it's not fully fucking. It has so much capitalism. It's crazy. They just like to take shit whenever it gets too big.
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen, a lot of people are going to say, fuck Trump. Let's just hope he can get this done before he's out the presidency. Because if he does something, the next president is going to get elected. He's going to fucking annul all that, cancel it all out, and it's going to be back to normal, right? So if he can get it done, and then 1 year, not even 1 year, 6 months without American protection, all of these motherfuckers are going to be like, bank account number, please. 6 months. And they're all going to start paying. You know, and that could, you know, potentially
This
help with
upcoming
our
year is
deficit.
gonna be interesting. We're gonna see how the tariffs are gonna do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
His favorite word, tariffs.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the part where he had those fucking Arabs in his Oval Office and then took one of his colognes and sprayed him? He's like, this is the best cologne, and sprayed him. And like, you
he
can take
sprayed
this.
You know, he sprayed it on the guy too.
Yeah. He sprayed it on a guy, and it's like, you can take this, and then we got a female version too for your wife. But then God knows how many wives you guys got with you. Nobody knows how many wives you got. But we'll give every single one of them one of those two.
That was so crazy that he did that, bro.
Bruh.
It was
Like, he
what
doesn't-
if-
he
what if
doesn't-
they put
he
some
just-
poison or some crazy neurotoxin on that shit, and then bro's just spraying it on the guy. Like,
Bro, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. Those guys were so uncomfortable when you sprayed them with that. Did you see their faces, bro? Like, they're so fucking
hell
uncomfortable.
yeah, they were nervous. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
But the
24 hours later, you just drop dead.
yeah, you go into this mode, you know.
You guys ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Peace.
Peace.